Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the Spirit of Truth. The Spirit of Truth is the book published in 1961, 60 years ago, by the spirits, several spirits, André Luiz, Emênio, Bezerra de Menezes, Eurípides Barçanufo, Meimei, Anália Franco, so many, through the mediums, Chico, Xavier, and Waldo Vieira. Two mediums, several spirits, to come and recap messages that were brought at Kardec's time in 1860s and revisited 100 years later, deepening our understanding. The truth at each message, where it's as if we are opening a new facet of the truth, new angle. And when we know the truth, our life is transformed. Our mistakes happen because we don't know what we're doing. That's what Jesus said, right? Today, André Luiz comes to us, the spirit doctor comes to us to teach us something that when he was last incarnated, he didn't know. He discarnated, as you can read in the book No Solar, and then in that, from that angle, he learned so many things, and he tells us what he has learned to let us know, so we take the most of this life. Each reincarnation is so precious. We just pray to God that we can really use this reincarnation to move forward, to progress intellectually, morally. Let's make this reincarnation the one in which we break all of our records, right? And today he's going to talk about our guiding model in us, Jesus in us, Jesus in you. Such a beautiful message. André Luiz today is going to be inspired in an item of the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 6, which is titled The Consoling Christ. Item 6. The very Spirit of Truth comes in 1861, 100 years before this message by André Luiz, and says, I have come to teach and console the disinherited poor. I've come to tell them to raise their resignation to the level of their trials. Truly I say to you, those who bear their burdens and help their brothers and sisters are my beloved. Instruct yourselves in the precious doctrine that dissipates the error of rebelliousness and teaches you the sublime purpose of the human trial. Wow. Well, you and I are certainly receiving the guidance, the error of rebelliousness. This is one of the core parts of that message by the Spirit of Truth. We rebel before things we don't understand. Do you consider yourself a rebellious person? It's up to us, right? To verify the level of rebelliousness. It begins when we resist the changes. Life is saying, I need you to change your diet. And we're like, oh, for God's sakes, come on. Let me eat my sweets every day anyway. Rebelliousness. It's when we have certain addictions and we don't want to live without them. And life is saying, can you please tone it down? And we don't want to let it go. We don't want to transform. Moral addictions, vices, and we rebel by resisting the call to change. So today, Andre Luiz brings to me, to you, to all of us, firsthand in English. Yes, after 60 years, this message is in English. And it tells us about our relationship with Jesus. Why? Question 625 of the Spirit's Book by Kardec. It says, clearly, it says to us. What does it say? That Jesus is our guide and model. He's the most perfect guide and model we could ever have. So in order to trim our edges, we need a guide and model. Andre Luiz begins. Our master did not use exceptional conditions in the world to exalt the light of truth and the blessing of love. So he begins by saying, Master, the problem on earth is that we're so rebellious that we don't want to have a master. That's a problem. If I am sheep and I don't want a shepherd, I may be lost. I may be a danger. Rebelliousness is dangerous because many people say, I don't want to believe in just one master. I believe in all masters. I just want to believe in anything. Well, let us use our reasoning. If the most perfect guide and model came, why am I going to resist it? It's as if I have a super personal trainer here in front of me for free, and I don't use that opportunity of that relationship to grow, build muscle. It's going to be a problem. And it's going to say that Jesus himself, as a guide and model, it's a question for all of us. Let us think. Are we rebellious? Do we accept a master? Because if we don't accept, it's going to be hard. But when we look at the guide and model, what were his conditions? He had no exceptional conditions. And as a result, says Andre Luiz, do not wait for the external renewal in daily life to be helpful. Start immediately your own sublimation. Jesus did not have a stone to lay his head. If you have minimal resources, you already have more than him. At Jesus' time, he did not enjoy any social expression. Before, of course, he became known by the very people. If you hold any study or title, you are a privileged person in a privileged situation. Jesus waited until he was 30 years old to serve more decisively. If you're young and you can be useful, you have a magnificent opportunity at hand. Jesus left at 33. If you live in a mature age and have the opportunity to help, then thank the On High by giving more of yourself. Jesus did not count on family members in the tasks that he proposed. If you live in peace at home, obtaining some cooperation on behalf of others, always bless such priceless gift. Jesus did not find anyone to support him in the difficult time. If you get support from someone at critical times, know how to be thankful. Jesus could not write anything. If you can write thoughts in the expansion of the good, collaborate without delay for the happiness of all. Therefore, we see that real life is born and evolves in the eternal spirit. It does not depend on appearances to project itself towards perfection. Jesus is ahead of us. If you want to get it right, just follow him. So let us follow him. That's the way Andre Luiz ends this conversation when he's talking about the spirit of truth at Kardec's time, saying that we need to study Spiritism to finish with this error of rebelliousness. So the first step is not to resist and embrace the invitation from the master. But when we look at his life as guide and model for us, he didn't have any exceptional conditions. So many people say, who am I? Who are you? You have many things Jesus didn't have. Oh, but come on, Vanessa. Jesus was Jesus. Why do we say that, right? It's always an excuse. Why would God send a teacher if we were not able to be taught? If we were not able to change? Come on. We are divine. We're divine, and we have the first step. Don't wait for the renewal of the world. So many people nowadays look at the world and say, it's such a bad world, especially during the pandemic. I'm so depressed. Now, let's look at the inner scenario. If I'm seeing something externally, it's within myself. So you and I are being called to that inner sublimation. You and I. We need to sublimate it. We need to go deep within ourselves to sublimate. What's to sublimate? Is to seek higher virtues. That's something society doesn't teach us because it teaches us to conquer material things. That inner part is guided and driven only by our own will. The guidance of Christ consciousness brings to us the direction to new virtues that we need to conquer consciously. It's not without consciousness. So we need effort and repetition. Okay? Jesus didn't have social expression. It's fascinating, the text. So simple, apparently, but deeply, it's profound. Because many people say, oh, who am I? I'm a nobody. If I were Oprah, Jesus wasn't Oprah. He rocked the world. And oh, but I am too old. And here we have, if you grew older than 33 years of age, like Jesus, thank God and give of yourself to others. Sometimes we have family members and friends who help us in the good works. Jesus didn't have them. At critical times, especially, he was all by himself. He didn't write He didn't have time for it. It wasn't supposed to be that way. But if you do, you need to collaborate in the best way possible. So interesting how little things can change a lot. Some people, they have great ideas and they don't put it forward because they think with vanity that if it's not something that the whole world is going to see, I'm not going to do it. Some people think it's fruitless to do things if they don't rock the world. But Jesus didn't teach us that. He taught a one on one approach. It's about doing the good one person at a time. Our goal is not the masses. That's God's goal, not ours. Our goal is one on one. So if I read a book and somebody reads, one person and it helps that person, great. Remember Andrea Lewis? Of all the patients, there was a woman who was grateful, prayerful, and it helped him. We didn't need 1,000, a million. One. One. We need to humble ourselves because sometimes we give excuses out of vanity. I don't do this because, I don't do that because, and then we postpone and we postpone the good all the way through. Sometimes because we're old, sometimes because we're young, sometimes because we don't have family members. We want the whole family to help. If you have one person, it's more than Jesus. So nowadays, you and I are writers because we write posts in social media. We are already influencers somewhat in that group that we have. We influence one another. He says, collaborate without delay for the happiness of all. It's not about expressing our opinion just because, it's about thinking if what we're sharing is helping people who will come across. So Jesus is ahead of us. Is he? Yes, by billions of years. Billions, billions. We, if we want to get it right, we need to follow. The main question for you and I today, from beginning to end, from the top, Jesus in us, Jesus in you, very personal. Master, following the master. You see the beginning and the end, tying up and saying, Master, follow the master. Do you want to follow the master? Do you consider Jesus your personal trainer, your divine personal trainer? So, in the next 24 hours, you and I will spend a day. Look at the proposal by the good spirits here at Kardec Radio. Huh? They are telling us the proposal is, Mentor Joseph is saying, spend the day with the best personal trainer you will ever have on earth, Jesus. And see how you want to follow him for a day. Just focus. Everything you do, he's there. See what happens. Want to try it? Yes. Let us work on this in the next 24 hours and follow him and see what he's going to tell us, what he's going to guide us towards, and then see how this makes an impact in our lives. It's about our relationship with Jesus, Jesus in us, Jesus in you, Jesus and I, our best personal trainer. And let us come along. If you want to report to us, you can send an email, kardecradio@gmail.com, and tell your story. How were those 24 hours for you? with the best personal trainer we could ever have. Okay? This is it for today. Let us follow him. Let us follow him. Let us follow Jesus and make it right. We thank you so much for being with us at Cardiac Radio today. Many blessings to you. And let us get together again here at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls at Cardiac Radio. Thank you, friends.